Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 demonstrations for you this evening, somewhat limited by the venue. We would not want to break the home of our gracious hosts. But first, we shall have a demo, a classic meetup of Northern Germany and Poland, Messer and Saber, demonstrating for us in the style of 2 similar yet fought very different weapons. We have Samuel and Josh, our German, evidenced by their gorgeous Landsknecht garb, and our Pole in the traditional long coat, both visitors to the Fair Isle, to demonstrate their respective styles. Messer and Saber, may God have mercy on their souls. Gentlemen, lay on! Point! And again. Point! Pause, gentlemen. So, as we see here, traditions of both styles. The curved saber, slashing and cutting, the straighter Messer, chopping and more staccato. Again, gentlemen, another point. Lay on! And again, we see a hallmark of Messer being fought. You don't necessarily want to go to prison or be hung for killing someone. Why not take a risk instead? Carry on. A death, but a glorious one, or inglorious as the case may be. Here we see Josh attempting another hallmark of the Messer as a weapon, which often involved grappling in addition to blade play. And Sam coming up with exactly the right answer. Maybe. It was at least a C-level answer, maybe not a straight A. All right, 2 more points, gentlemen?
Good man, good man. Stay your blades.
Hold.
Because as we all know, sword fighting is nothing if not safety conscious.
To be fair, gentlemen, what is the first rule of Sword Fight Club? Don't get hit. If you get hit, you might get hurt, and then you can't play with swords. Then what was the point? All right, lay on. Where hold? Sorry. Okay. Perhaps now would be a good time to think about moving towards our second demo. I had intended 1 more point of this. We may cut it short to allow for the service. We can't be ungracious to one's host after all. Gentlemen, you can doff your masks briefly. I give you Samuel and Joshua fighting Saber and Messer. Our next demonstration for you will be one we have not done for people in the public before. Sam, if you want to step off, bring Mariano on, and if you can fetch. We will be demonstrating mace and shield. This is something we know was fought. We have very few historical sources for. If I may, while you're doing that, I'm going to grab your mace for a second. I will note, while these look wicked, these are safety training maces. Okay? The real thing, yes. The thing to remember as they play this is that even with safety gear and flexible flanges, it's still a hefty stick and will deliver quite an impact blow, and that is what the mace was meant for. All right. At your ready, gentlemen. Once we bring the larger shields in, things get a bit more survivable. Carry on. Where? Yep. All right. Lay on. So you'll notice, even though these are hefty impact weapons, they're not swinging like they're trying to hit a home run. They don't need to. The flange on one of these maces, if it catches you at a joint, is going to do some hefty damage, even at a moderate pace. Hold. That would have been a lifetime crippling blow. Stand, Mariano. An impact shot to the outside of the knee with any real force, Mariano would have been lucky to limp off the battlefield if his mates jumped Josh fast enough to get him off. And lay on! One thing to note with these shields as they fight is that, contrary to what you might believe or expect, you'll notice they're using the shield offensively as well. Hold! That was a lovely headshot. Did everybody catch that? The mace that Mariano took right across the brow line. Which tells you a lot about how chaotic this is, even in a one-on-one bout. Imagine lines of these folks across from each other, intermixed with spears and early gunpowder weapons. Battle was chaos. Lay on! Hold, safety. Oh, thank you. See, this is why in any bout today, as we train or practice, it takes a community to keep people safe. They see, I don't. I see, they don't. In a competitive formation bout in the modern age, we would typically have 3 judges and a director, plus each fighter has a ring second, whose job is to effectively act as their squire, make sure they have water, make sure to take care of their gear specifically. If they need to argue with an official, it is in fact the squire's job to argue with the official, not the fighter. We've learned over the long years that it's safer that way. Gentlemen, lay on! Oh! Lovely. I could hear that several people caught what was going on.
Thank you. Didn't want to send you into the table. I appreciate it.
Oh! And a double. Matching low shots.
No, that was Mariano's.
Mariano's first, yes.
No, I missed.
Oh, you missed? Ah! Lovely. You will also hear our fighters decline points, as Josh just did. You will also notice that they will thrust with the head of their mace, not simply swipe. Anybody who's ever been poked with a good stick knows exactly how fun that is.
Here's on the hand.
2 more points. Headshot.
Last one.
Oh, bravo. That's not fair. Mariano and Josh, ladies and gentlemen. For our last bout, we will be taking you far to the eastern edge of Europe, And Sam will be taking over from me as MC as I will demonstrate with CJ the Georgian style, the nation, not the state, in the Caucasus Mountains, sandwiched in between Europe and Asia, of sword and buckler.
Lords, ladies, and gentles, thank you. As you can see, this is representation of the sword and buckler. The buckler being a very small shield. And not to beat an old adage to death, but it's not size that matters, it's how you use it. Although it is a very small shield, held out away from the body, it covers a larger area, creating what we call a cone of defense, protecting the person. It's also much more convenient to carry around with you, making this a popular choice for the common man, or the common lady. Although there's nothing common about it. The oldest fight book that we have depicting the art of swordplay in a European language is known as I-33, also known as the Walpurgis fight book. It is so named because one of the fighters depicted is actually a young woman named Walpurgis. And so we honor that tradition today. Fencers, lay on. You'll notice the actions are very quick, very precise. Points, very palpable points. You'll notice that the sword and buckler are held very close together. This provides protection to the hand. As you'll notice, the hand guards on these swords are, well, non-existent. Fencers, lay on. Wrist. This style was founded in the high mountain Caucasus, and so sudden shifts of level are very important.
Yeah!
The buckler, serving not only as protection, is also a very, very efficient weapon.
Yep, two aren't they? You've practiced with me too long, CJ.
When can you miss it, folks?
So is the blade grab. One highlight of these bucklers, unlike many you see, is that we have a corded, flexible grip, which allows me to open my hand and seize your blade as I did. I have to get one good shot in after I tried to drop on you.
A cut hand is bad. A cut throat is worse.
Once more. One more. That was a good one. Thank you for attending. This sort of demonstration or entertainment was very common at evenings like this, all over Europe in this era. After all, you paid good money for that training. Why wouldn't you want to show it off in a way that didn't kill you? Thank you all.
Northwest Armizare! Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! And we wish to note that this was all freestyle combat. Nothing was choreographed. And as always, we give the disclaimer that no Armizare were actually harmed in the staging of this demonstration.